Hello and welcome to Held and Heard. This is a podcast for pregnant and postpartum mamas who want to feel more connected to their babies and more confident in themselves. Here, we talk about elimination communication and infant potty learning as a way of listening, not as something to add to your plate, but as a way to better understand what your baby has been communicating from the very beginning. This is a place where you learn to trust your baby and yourself. I'm your host, Heather Medlin, mother of 3, infant potty learning educator, and founder of Ready from Birth, where I guide postpartum mamas through every stage of early potty learning, from birth to toilet independence. Each week, I'll help you slow down, tune in, and discover just how aware and capable your baby already is, so you can meet them with confidence instead of doubt. Your baby is communicating, and you are capable of listening. Let's get started. When disposable diapers were first introduced into the US market in the 1960s by the Pampers Company, they were marketed for lifestyle convenience and as empowerment for working moms. The idea was that if a mom wasn't having to launder cloth diapers, that they would be able to go back to work, they would be able to enter the workforce. And this was really coinciding with the second wave of feminism. But this was really marketed as a female empowerment tool. It was a product that came on the market. It was really there to give moms so much more convenience. They weren't going to have to be washing cloth diapers anymore. It was going to give them freedom to enter the workforce. But what most moms don't realize today, now that disposable diapers have become ubiquitous, I saw some numbers recently that about 95% of families in the US exclusively use disposable diapers. Cloth diapers have really come back into vogue recently as people have become more environmentally conscious and they want to create less waste. And so cloth diapers have really come about as sort of the so-called antidote to disposable diapers. But what's really missing here is that most moms don't realize that what they think is going to make their life more convenient in the present moment, disposable diapers, not having to wash cloth, is actually making their life harder long-term and in the present where they are right now. Because what they're doing is they're kicking the can down the road of eventually potty training their baby or their toddler, eventually potty training their toddler. And they're making it so much harder because now a habit has been ingrained for sometimes years. And depending on the personality of your child, this can be a relatively fast process that can happen over a matter of weeks with an older toddler. Or it can be a process that is stressful and full of resistance and frustration and tears for months. And sometimes diaper dependence can continue on for years. My son, my oldest, is starting kindergarten in the fall, and he's 5. And we went to kindergarten orientation a few weeks ago, and I was really taken aback at how many times in the presentation, in the follow-up parent survey, in the literature that they sent home, that an ability to self-toilet was emphasized over and over again as the number one most important skill that they wanted to make sure parents were working with their children to have when they start school in the fall. It is not an accident that this is being talked about more and more frequently in the education space. Many teachers are finding it very disruptive in the classroom when children are coming into their classroom at 5 years old in elementary school, not fully potty trained, not fully able to toilet independently. Why? Because potty training is actually not something that is meant to happen in a weekend. A lot of people have been marketing these 3-day weekend potty training courses. But in reality, studies have shown that it takes mastery of over 40 different skills to master toilet independence. It's not one skill that can be learned in a weekend. It is 40 different independent skills. And when you look at it that way, as a bouquet of toilet learning, if you will, this is something that is meant to be learned over time in a journey, not all of a sudden, all at once. And when you start to look at it that way, it makes a lot more sense to start this potty learning process early. And you can actually start from birth, which is what I teach here and on my Instagram, Ready from Birth. You can start this potty learning process from birth, and it will progress naturally throughout your baby's first year as their physical motor development progresses, as their brain development progresses, and their understanding of the world develops. And by the time that they are walking around their first birthday, they can very easily master potty training, certainly during the day, and soon after during the night as well, when you have laid the foundation for these skills. And I have experienced that in my own life. I'm a working mom of 3 with my younger 2 children, my daughter, and now my third, my son. We have potty trained from the newborn days. With my daughter, we started at 5 weeks, and she was out of diapers by 14 months. She didn't walk until 15 months. With my son, my third baby, we started from birth with him. We started EC at birth, and he was out of daytime diapers pretty much by about 7.5 months. We just didn't use them anymore. They were pretty much unnecessary at that point. As soon as he had started crawling, he could crawl to the potty and very clearly communicate his need to go. And we would, of course, help him remove his pants and help him get on because he was still quite little at the time. But the communication piece was there. It was clear. It was consistent. And so we had really no need for diapers for him during the day at home. And he actually started walking right around 12 months. And now at this point, he is essentially fully potty trained during the day. The only time he uses diapers is for his naps and for nighttime when he's sleeping at night. And I'll touch on that a little bit more later because what I wanted to share with you today is an answer to the most common misconception that I hear from moms. Beyond simply, wow, I didn't know that EC existed. I didn't know that potty training my baby was an option. Beyond that, it's, oh, wow, that's really cool, but that won't work for me because I work. What do you do if you work? What do you do if there's daycare? And I am a working mom. I am a professional architect. I'm working part-time currently, but planning to go back full-time in the fall. And I'm over a decade into my career, and I have no plans of discontinuing that at this time. I'm very grateful to have had the opportunity to get an education and to gain experience in my field, to be working in my field, but I'm a working mom. And so I come to you with this experience of having potty trained both of my youngest 2 children by 1 year old to say, this is absolutely possible for you too. I am not a stay-at-home mom of 1. Many people believe that you must be a stay-at-home mom of only 1 child and just sit there and stare at your child all day and wait for them to poop. And that is not the case at all. I am here to tell you it is so much simpler, it's so much easier, so much more doable than most people realize. And what I would really invite you to consider today as you listen is that pottying your baby from birth can actually make that first year so much easier. I've talked a lot about this in some of my previous episodes, but people think diapers are going to make their life more convenient and therefore easier, and therefore they're going to be able to get more sleep. They're going to have less stress. They're going to reduce their likelihood of postpartum anxiety and depression. But actually what's happening is that they've been sold this narrative that diapers are going to do that. The diapers are the silver bullet that's going to make that possible. And it's going to allow you to go back to work at 6 weeks postpartum, 3 months postpartum. I'm sorry, United States, but we've really got to work on that. I find that ridiculous. However, when moms have to go back to work to earn a paycheck to contribute to the exorbitantly high cost of living that is happening in our country right now, it is necessary to be able to put your baby in a diaper and send them to childcare. And I absolutely understand that. And I'm going to show you in this episode why that is not the only way to look at this. So I wanted to give you 5 points of how we did this. How on earth did we actually potty train our babies by 1 as a working mom of multiple children? So first and foremost, you have to capitalize on your maternity leave. If you know that you're going back to work in a few months or a few weeks, you have to make use of that time when you are home with your baby and you are not expected to be on call or showing up to the office or taking Teams calls. That is gold. And you need to make the most use of this time. And I get it. You just had a baby. You might have had a baby in the NICU. You might have had a difficult birth or an unexpected C-section. Postpartum is hard. No matter how you slice it, you're exhausted. Your body is wrecked. You are still bleeding. You're not sleeping. Listen, I've been there 3 times. I understand. And also, elimination communication can make the newborn phase so much easier. I will link the episode where I talked about why this is the case for EC with a newborn, and I'll link that down below in the show notes if you want to go listen to that one next. But it is absolutely going to help you get through postpartum when you truly understand what your baby is saying, how they're communicating. Your baby does not come out of the womb expecting to use a diaper. A diaper is a modern creation intervention that was not meant to be there in the first place. God did not design your baby to have a faulty receptor that cannot pick up on the fact that it needs to pee or poop. Your baby is programmed, designed, and wired from day one as they are being formed in your womb to be able to notice that they need to potty and let you know. They know that they need to eliminate. Humans come with the ability to recognize this need and to communicate it to their caregivers. God designed them perfectly with this awareness and ability to communicate on board from day one. And so when we introduce a diaper and we mask what's happening and we teach our baby to use the diaper instead of just communicating and letting us know, we're creating friction. We're creating friction in the very beginning where we're trying to force, for lack of a better word, our baby to do something that they're not naturally expecting to do. And so that can create a lot of friction in the postpartum period. A lot of people don't understand why their baby is crying all the time, why they're constipated, why they haven't pooped in several days. And they think that they're just going to wait for the poop and that's going to solve the problem. But what's actually not happening is that they're not taking their baby to poop, which if you do that in the postpartum period, which I'm talking about, you can actually instead lay the foundation of this early toilet learning where you are laying the foundation for when you feel this feeling in your body and you let me know, I am going to come and do something about it. I'm going to respond. I'm going to understand what you mean. I'm going to understand what you need. And I'm going to respond. And when you start doing that consistently and your baby learns that somebody's coming to take the diaper off, now they can start to hold it and wait. And when you do this consistently and they start to potty consistently, and every time you take them, they start to pee and poop and their diaper starts to be dry. Can't tell you how many diapers with my newborns were dry. They start to fuss. I recognize they need to potty. I take them to the sink or the bathroom or the toilet or beside the car and they're dry. And I hold them out and they go. They pee, they poop right away. It's simple. It's effortless. Their need is met immediately and they immediately stop crying. And then, you know what? You have a peaceful baby, a calm baby who is not crying. Do you know how much easier it is to manage postpartum and sleep deprivation when your baby is not crying? When you start to do this consistently during your maternity leave, before you go back to work, you're laying the foundation from day one or from those early weeks of what to do when they feel that feeling in their body. And the awareness is the first piece of the puzzle that your child needs to ultimately be able to do this on their own. Okay, so the second thing that you need to think about is choosing childcare, because you're going back to work. You're going to have to leave your baby with somebody. It's not going to be you. So you want to choose childcare that is willing to support your baby with the skill that you have already been developing with them before you go back to work. You want to talk to them, whether they're going to have a grandparent watching or you're going to get a nanny or a babysitter or an au pair or a daycare. You need to have a conversation as you're interviewing these possible options to say, hey, we're doing elimination communication with our baby. Here's what that looks like. Would you be willing to continue to do this while our child is with you? See what they say. You're going to want to look for somebody who's open-minded, who's curious, who's willing to try it, and then teach them. Because you have already laid this foundation with them during your maternity leave, your baby already knows what to do. They know what to expect. And you should, by this point, understand their signals and understand their communication and their patterns. And now you can tell your caregiver, oh, hey, so my baby usually poops 3 times a day. Here are the times. It usually coincides with their breast milk, formula, whatever it is. You recognize those patterns and you communicate them. Oh, and then when they make this sound, that's a potty sound. And when they look over there towards the bathroom, that's a potty cue. And when they pop off the bottle and they stop feeding, that means they need to poop. You already know these features of your baby because you've been doing your homework from day one. You've been spending this time with them and you already know what to do. And so now, because you understand them, you can communicate this to someone else. I have had, with my third baby, so many different caregivers. We have had many babysitters. We've been through several nannies. My mom was watching them for a while, and we've had different experiences with all of them. But I have gotten really good and really fast at teaching new caregivers how to support our baby. And just yesterday, we had a brand new babysitter come in. She was filling in for our regular nanny. And she arrived at 8:30 and I walked out the door about 15 minutes later. And in that 15 minutes, I walked her through the schedule. I explained how to potty our baby. I showed her what to do, where it was, when to take him, or when to make sure that he had a chance to go, because he still cannot take his own pants off. So he needs help with that. But once his pants are off, if he needs to go, he can walk to the bathroom and go sit down on his potty. So I explained to her when to make sure that he has a chance to go. And in the 4 hours that she was watching him, she caught a poop. Really, he caught a poop. But he needed to poop. She got his pants off and he went and sat down in the potty and he went. I did forget to tell her how to clean the potty. And so when I got home, there was a little bit of cleanup to do. But the point is, when you understand your baby, you can communicate this to their caregiver and then they can easily pick up where you left off. And that is the key, is making sure that you're placing them with a trusted caregiver who understands what you're asking them to do and is willing to do it. I will say this can get dicey sometimes with a grandparent or family member who is not paid. If you are paying someone to watch your child, then there is a employer-employee relationship where you are creating the job description. You're saying, here is the job description for watching my child. Here's what I want you to do. With a daycare, sometimes they have different policies that may get in the way of, oh, we can't leave the room because now we're going to be out of ratio and we can't do that because of state laws. And there's no bathroom in the infant room. So if you have a grandparent or family member watching, there can sometimes be this attitude of, well, I didn't do this with you or I didn't do this with my child, so I'm not going to do this with your baby. What I did was good enough already. And there can be a little bit of this unwillingness to do something different than what they have done with you or with another child that they've had. And because you're not paying them, you have a little bit different relationship. So again, ideally you would have a family member who honors and respects you as a parent in your own right. But if that is not the case, something to take note of and consider. We are actually interviewing daycares right now to make a choice to send our baby, who's now a toddler, to full-time daycare in the fall. He'll be about 16 months old at the time. He's already fully potty trained now. And so as we're looking for facilities to place him in, I'm asking them, do you have a bathroom in his toddler classroom? Will he be able to go on his own? Is he going to be able to go when he needs to go and not just on a timed schedule, which is sometimes the case? So I'm asking these questions. I'm touring the facility. I'm making sure that he has an adequate toileting facility that he can use. And actually the one that we are choosing where he's going to go in the fall, I really love the design. They have a single bathroom in between 2 toddler classrooms that has Dutch doors on either side of it. And then 2 small 12-inch child-sized toilets that are separated by a partition. This is awesome. Their toddler classroom is purposefully designed for small toddlers to use the toilet. And even before the typical age in the United States, which is usually like 2 to 3 years old. So a teacher can stay in the classroom, observe the child because the Dutch door is there, and the child can't, walk out of the bathroom because of the bottom part of the door is there, and they can sit down on it by themselves with a stool. It's fantastic. I'm really excited about this. We've explained to them that our child is potty trained and they are more than happy to help out with that. So I'm feeling really confident about sending him to daycare in the fall. I know that he's going to get an opportunity to make friends and just have a more educational experience than he's having at home with our nanny right now. We did choose to have a nanny this year as we had 3 children who were not yet in school. So because of that and their schedules, it just didn't make sense to do daycare. It is extremely cost prohibitive to have more than 2 children in daycare, I will tell you that. So we chose a nanny. We've been making some adjustments and flexible choices for that. I have another episode all about the details on how we do that. I will also link that down in the show notes. Okay, number 3, it's so important to be consistent when you're home. Not perfect, but consistent. If you have your child in childcare with someone else during the day, when you are home with them, so in the morning before you drop them off, in the evenings after you pick them up, all night long, on the weekends, it is so important that when you are together with your child, that you are consistent. I am not saying you have to catch every pee, catch every poop. That is not going to happen. If your child is in daycare, they are more than likely going to be getting your opportunities to use the potty. They are probably going to be using their diaper a good bit. But when you are with them, it's really important that you're consistently offering at the times you know that they need to go. You are consistently responding to true potty communication. You're not just offering randomly once a day at bath time and hoping that that's going to do the trick. Let me tell you, it's not. If you're not making this about communication, elimination, communication, then your baby is not learning the same way that they would be if you were truly recognizing a potty cue and responding accordingly. This is not just about offering the potty a few times a day and getting them exposure to sitting on a plastic bucket. This is about truly reinforcing their innate awareness that they need to go. Now they're communicating that to you. They're learning how to ask. You're giving them language to ask. I show you exactly how to do that, what to look for, how to recognize these signals across all ages in different contexts, and also how to give your baby communication so that they can intentionally ask you from newborn on up. Inside the Born Ready course, that is where I break down the how-to of all of this, whether you're starting with a newborn or you're starting on up to 12 months old. But the best way to use Born Ready is to take the course now before your baby is born, while you're pregnant, while you still have time, because your time is going to shrink dramatically once your baby is born. But if you are prepared and you already know what to do, then when that sleep deprivation hits, when you're tired and you're trying to figure out, how do I add in something new? How do I learn something new? You've already done the heavy lifting. You've already learned it. Now you're just applying it. Now you have a real life baby to apply this with, and the course is there to reference as you go. And then the final thing that I wanted to say is make nights about communication and sleep, not just about catching every pee. It's not about you responding to every wiggle that your baby makes and then ripping off their diaper and taking them to the potty and now they're fully awake. And you caught the pee, but now your baby's awake and now you have to put them back to bed. I am not suggesting that approach. I think it's really important that you get sleep, whether you're a working mom or not, because I have experienced both being a stay-at-home mom and being a working mom. And stay-at-home mom life, I mean, that is a grueling 14-hour day that just never ends. You need sleep no matter what your day situation looks like. And the way to do that is to make EC at night about communication. If your baby wakes up and they are clearly letting you know that they need to potty, which you know because you've done your homework and you have taken note of what those communication signals look like during the day, then you know, yes, my baby needs to go, or no, they don't need to go. And they're telling you one way or the other. With my baby, sometimes I would literally just walk towards the door of the bathroom and he would freak out and he would be like, no. I mean, he's crying. He whips his head back. He's arching back like a gymnast. And it's a full body no. Crystal clear. He's telling me no. I'm offering by moving towards the bathroom, and he is letting me know that is not what I need. Oftentimes, he's already peed. That's what woke him up. And now he just wants to nurse and go back to sleep. And depending on the situation, I may go ahead and change his diaper so that he's dry. I do that nowadays because he hates to be wet. He's used to being dry. I don't ever keep him in a wet diaper or wet underwear of any kind. Like, he's completely used to being dry. So I will usually just change his diaper and put him in a fresh one. Then I will nurse him. He will fall back asleep and I will put him back down. He usually only wakes up if he's teething or he's going through a developmental leap or he's sick, or sometimes if he's just had a nightmare. But he can sleep 11 hours and he often does. I'm never going to wake him up unless he's fully waking up. I'm seeing eyeballs and he is showing me that he needs me and also that he needs to go potty. So it's really, really important that you learn your baby's communication and you're not just offering when you think they might need to go based on timing or relationship to other parts of the day, that you actually truly understand the communication, because that is what makes this a doable process when you are a very, very busy working mom. And when you use this process, potty learning is going to progress naturally as your baby develops in the first year. And they can easily be fully potty trained by 1 or around walking. And the research that I've done about this shows across the board that in developing countries where this is often practiced as the normal, most common mode of infant hygiene, most babies are fully complete with potty training by 1 year old. And that's what we've seen with our youngest, because we did start this with him from birth and he has progressed very predictably. And now he's walking at 12 months and he's pretty much fully potty trained during the day. He does still have accidents from time to time, maybe 2 or 3 a day at this point, but it's really no big deal. We're prepared for it. We've got plenty of underwear and pants, and I just wash the laundry every other day. It's really no big deal. Most of the pees and poops he's getting in the potty, he gets just about every poop in the potty, so we're not changing poopy diapers. And we haven't been this whole time. I hate changing poopy diapers. Honestly, I would rather invest all of this time with EC over the first year of life and not change poopy diapers than to be changing a poopy diaper on a squirmy toddler screaming their head off. It's a man-sized poop. It's coming out their ears and they're literally jumping off the changing table. My baby is 13 months old now and he is so strong. Oh my gosh. If I'm trying to get him dressed or pick him up out of the bathtub before he's done playing with his boats, oh my gosh, it is like wrestling a slippery alligator. He's so strong. I cannot imagine trying to clean up a poopy diaper or a blowout on a toddler at this age. As a working mom, this is one thing you can just take off your to-do list. You will not be changing poopy diapers. Done and done. If that is the only thing you take away from this conversation today, let it be that. And if you want to learn more about how to do this and you want to do your homework now, and you're pregnant and you're preparing for baby to arrive, or even if you're already postpartum and you're like, okay, great, tell me more. How do I get started? I break it all down in the Born Ready course. You can watch while you're doing the dishes or while you're breastfeeding or even on your way to work. There's no homework because, listen, I know you do not have time to sit down on your computer and do worksheets when you are a postpartum mom. But there's no homework to stress about or PDFs you have to fill out or feel guilty that you didn't fill them out. This is purely listen to the content, apply it with your baby right away. It is going to make it so much easier for you to get started because you're going to know exactly what you're doing. You're going to feel confident. You're going to know what to look for. And most moms report to me that they catch their first pee or their first poop within 24 hours after starting the course. And I know it is going to make this so much easier for you, feel so much more doable, and you are going to love that you made this choice. If you loved today's episode, would you take a moment to help me reach even more mamas with this message? Leave me a review or share this with a friend. You can help even more families discover what's possible. You can find education and support for every stage of your baby's potty learning journey at readyfrombirth.com. And be sure to follow me on Instagram at readyfrombirth.ec. Thank you so much for listening. I'll be back every Monday with a brand new episode. See you next time. Bye for now.